Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we're giving you guys our top 5 album lists of 2023. So, we're going to jump right in with number 5 here and to talk about my number 5 album of the year. This is from a band that we've covered on this channel many times already. And I'd say they're a consistently really good band. We've actually reviewed new releases from this band 3 times, but not once have they actually gotten on the Toe Tag list, believe it or not. But I think with this album that came out this year, it's definitely among one of their absolute best. Hits hard, very fun, very enjoyable album to listen to. I enjoyed it when we checked it out earlier this year, and I still enjoy it a lot today.
Okay, my number 5, it's an album that we didn't have a chance to cover on the channel, but I kept finding myself going back to it during free weeks and enjoying it more and more every time. It contains just a lot of cool ideas with like consonance and dissonance that still manages to feel cohesive. It reminded me a lot of The Sound of Perseverance by Death, which is one of my favorite Death albums. So, our number 5s, Ontological Mysterium by Horrendous.
Dance Devil Dance.
Dance Devil Dance by Avatar. Cool.
Yeah, that Horrendous album was really good.
That Horrendous album is really good.
Definitely an underrated album from this year. So
I would have liked to have reviewed it. I mean, it just kind of...
Yeah, it's, you know, with how many videos we dropped and how many bands we covered, it's really hard to get them all, right? So let's talk about that.
Stats.
Today, it's crazy considering throughout the year, it felt like we were pumping out a lot of videos. And if you look at the stats, we certainly did. This year, we dropped 244 videos.
That's insane.
Which is
That's insane.
Like so much of the year already. For reference, last year, 181.
Which is a lot too.
It's a lot, but like the fact that we did more, insane. And out of those videos, our most viewed was our reaction to Watch the World Burn by Falling in Reverse.
Wow.
And I mean, it makes sense. That was our first time covering that band on our channel. And that video and band are both really, really popular.
They're hot right now.
It made sense. And view-wise, over 40,000 views. Pretty good.
Wow.
As far as bands covered, we covered 154 total bands this year.
That's a lot too.
You'd think to yourself like, oh, 154 bands, whatever, it's just 154. But try to name
150.
Try to name 154.
It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's actually a lot of bands.
It is. And compared to last year, 136, still a lot, but this year was just a level up in both senses, you know?
That's insane. So number 4s. On to the number 4s.
Number 4.
So my number 4 is an album that released back in May. And I remember I gave it a generally favorable first impression score, but for some reason I kept forgetting about it. It kept slipping my mind, like it was like lost in the garden of my memory or something. Like it was weird. But whenever I did think about it and I put it on, I'd be like, this album is good. This album is really good. It's got just a lot to offer in its progressiveness. It's got a great vocal performance, a lot of highlights, just really solid album overall.
Well, my number 4 of the year is an album that actually came around the same time as Avatar, a similar time frame. And I remember when I listened to this album for the first time, my jaw hit the floor with how good it was. I couldn't believe how incredible this album was. It was my first time really checking this band out just in general. I didn't know how good they were until I checked out this album. It wastes no time. It is so unbelievably aggressive, but it has so much nuance to it, and it's incredible. So our number 4 albums of the year.
We got Man Must Die. I got Vintage Seed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Woven Its Ashes.
Interesting.
This album grew on me fast, and it became a top contender, and it rode that wave for a while.
Fair enough, man.
And that album,
oh my God.
juicy album.
Juicy album. It's still a mind blower even to this day. Like, incredible record.
So, a couple more stats.
Let's talk about some more stats. What do we got?
Average scores we gave this year.
Ooh, what were they?
So your average score for this year was a 7.
That's a good score.
My average score was a little bit lower at 6.2.
That's also still a good score.
Pretty good score.
Like, considering the way that we rate albums, if you guys don't know, a toe tag is 8 or higher.
Yeah.
So basically, we're rating albums out of 8.
Technically,
Like, in a technical sense, it's kind of out of 8.
Yeah, so 7 on our channel is really, really good. 6 is still really good as well.
Yeah.
The number of toe tag albums.
Oh,
So last year we gave 6 to toe tags. Okay, 6 albums made the list. This year, 7.
Nice.
So actually an increase.
All right.
Actually pretty good.
You'll
So
love to see it.
that list is getting bigger every year.
That's good to see, man. All right, number 3 album of the year. So my number 3 album is a divisive album. I know a lot of people liked it when it came out. A lot of people did not like it. And I understand. I get it. But when you're a band that's been around for this long, you get to a point where you're either going to just make the same album over and over, or you're going to try something different.
Right.
And in the past while, this band has been trying new things. And with this album, they go to the moon and back with its creativity, and even listening to it again, there's just so many awesome moments and so many cool ideas that they put into it. And you just sit there at the end just like, wow, what an experience that was.
So my number 3, it's an album we did review, and it was super fun to review it. I had a lot of fun covering it. It has no bad songs on it. It's one of those albums that really brought me back to my childhood because it has a lot of these throwback influences. It kept reminding me of a lot of things. I was picking up on things every time I listened to it, and it's just really nice to know that albums like this exist. They just kind of, the spirit lives on an album like this.
Yeah.
Like you just kind of, get that old feeling and just a really feel good, but awesome music all around still. So
Number 3.
Code Orange, The Above.
Nice. Mine is Life is But a Dream.
Ooh, yeah,
My
that was a
Life is But Dream.
polarizing album.
It was. A lot of people didn't like it, a lot of people did. You really kind of went either way on it. And I remember when we first checked out the album and when we first started hearing like the new material, we were like, what's up with the voice? But then it grew on me like, nah, he sounds great.
Yeah. I know there's a couple songs off that album that went into my playlist, like Mattel
Yeah.
and Nobody.
Oh,
Has some
man.
really good songs, some really, really cool, catchy stuff. So let's talk about album art.
What's in an album art? That can sell an album. You walk in the record store, you see a great looking album art, and like, damn, I need to have that. And you just found your favorite album because it looked cool sitting there on the shelf.
So when we edit this video, we'll put the album arts up so you guys can see what we're talking about.
See what they are.
So we're gonna list 3, but we're only gonna kind of talk about the best one in our opinion. So I guess I'll start. So my top 3 album arts are The Dracath Saga by Dragon Corpse,
Nice.
Homo Deus by Stillbirth,
Okay,
and
yeah.
Mother by Veil of Maya. That's my album art of the year.
nice.
So I just love this beautiful pastel shades of pinks and purples and blues. Has this really good balance of warm and cool colors, great contrast between foreground and background. The character on the front is this cool like Shiva or Lethean inspired goddess. She looks like some sort of like wicked witch demon from like another dimension. It's just really cool, really captivating and gorgeous, beautiful work of art.
And if you notice, if you like look closely at that one, you can see there's like
She's
a child.
She's got a child in her. Yeah.
Mother.
Yeah.
So for my album arts, my number 3 is Endling by Kvelertak. Then Foregone by In Flames.
That's a good one.
And my album art of the year is also Mother by Veil
Oh
of Maya.
wow. There was a lot of good album arts. I'm not surprised
There
though.
was. But that
Beautiful.
one struck me so hard. I bought a shirt that has that album art all over print.
Yeah.
I loved it that much. Like
Yeah.
I saw that album art, like that's one of the coolest things ever. The colors are gorgeous. I love that they have essentially the synthwave color scheme, and that they have a lot of the synthwave references and stuff in the album too. Like it's an album befitting of an album cover like that.
Yeah, I didn't particularly like the album, but the art is sick. By the way, I want to just mention we don't know any but our picks. Like I don't know anything
like,
he picked.
the fact
he doesn't
that
know anything I
we
picked. So it's cool that we both picked the same album art out of that many to choose from too.
It was that good though.
It was that good.
So
I could have chose a lot of other ones too. But what about worst album art?
So
We always got to say the worst one.
I know we always like our thing is like what's the one worst album art?
Yeah.
But mine's actually 2 because they go together.
Okay.
And that's both of the double album from Butcher Babies.
Oh, I don't remember. what
Eye
those
for
look
an
like.
Eye Until the World's Blind. It's literally just a place with some wind chimes hanging there. It looks so boring and stupid, which sucks because I think it's Till the World's Blind, like the second one, was actually like a good album, but Eye for an Eye, like I didn't like the album at all.
Yeah.
But the album art for both of them just looks stupid. But at least at like the end of one of the albums, you can actually hear the wind chime. So it's like, oh, okay, that was on the cover. But like, they just look so bland. Like, they suck.
So my worst album art, it's not really as in like it's bad art, it's just disappointing. And it's A Taste for It by the Bunny the Bear.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
it's dark gray
you can't
on
see
dark
it.
gray, and it's a cool image, but you can't see it.
Yeah,
That's-
you can't see it.
So to me, that's just a big flop. It's just so disappointing. They should have just used a different color somewhere instead of gray on gray. I get it's creative choice. It is what it is. They made that decision for whatever reason, but I just wish there was some color added or something to make the image stand out because it's a pretty cool drawing on there.
Yeah, you
Right?
can't.
You just can't see it.
You can't see it.
Unless you like look really close and under perfect lighting. So,
With that, let's get to our number 2 album of the year.
okay.
So my number 2 album of the year. Here's the thing about 1 and 2. It was really hard for me to decide. It came down to the wire for me. I did figure it out. I do have a number 2, number 1, but it was a really difficult choice. Now with my number 2, this is an album that feels like it flows so well into itself. I loved it to death when we reviewed this album. Kept spinning it over and over and over. The songs are awesome. Everything is kick-ass. The way they go into each other. The way that they improve each other. You listen to one song in a vacuum and it's a sick song. But when you hear what comes before, what comes after, it makes it better. They all flow together. They're meant to be with each other. And the fact that this is the kind of album where you can keep listening and find new things over and over and over, it's just an endless rabbit hole that you can just dig through and keep finding more. Kick-ass album, incredible performances, loved it.
Okay, so the way you're talking, I'm thinking in my head, and I'm like, what's it gonna be? What's it gonna be? I have like an idea, but I have no idea. So my number 2 album is a monster of an album, and I think far too many people are sleeping on it. I think it has some of the best riffs of the year. It's just exactly what I wanted from this band. They've been relatively inactive for the better part of like a decade. And for me, especially in a genre that tends to feel a little bit stagnant at times, it's kind of like they came back and they're like, we're the resurrection of sick riffs and awesome tech death.
We're bringing it back.
I really just couldn't ask for more from what this brand brought. So, by the way, I should also add that this was super close to being a number 1. It was a major toss-up for me too. So my number 2 is Man Must Die.
Mine is The Above by Code Orange.
Wow. Sick.
A masterpiece.
Masterpiece.
That's also a masterpiece.
Both
They're
masterpieces.
both masterpieces.
All right, so let's talk about some other stuff. Music video of the year.
Oh, dude, there were so many good ones.
There was a bunch of good ones. I had down to like maybe a handful of really good ones that I had to choose from.
Yeah, like throughout the year, we kind of try to keep track of like what are the best music videos. Like, yeah, that one will go. You probably saw in our reactions, yeah, that song will go, on the list for best song of the year and stuff like that. It was the same thing for music videos, but I did think I found one after kind of skimming through them, like, oh yeah, this is the one.
Okay.
This music video was so enthralling to watch, to see what was going on, the way the video was made.
If we've got the same one, I'm gonna freak out.
The way that it complements the song, everything is so cool to look at, but very impressively made. And it's funny because the music video was amazing, but when we first heard the song, we weren't really huge on the song, but the song grew on both of us.
Okay.
So now it's a sick video and it's a sick song.
Okay.
So my music video of the year is Nobody by Avenged Sevenfold.
Yeah.
Fucking incredible. The stop motion, the skeletons, the war scene, he falls through the cosmos, just gorgeous.
Yeah, that's a beautiful video, and it was one of my top contenders as well, so I definitely see where you're coming from. My music video of the year is a video that just had a great cinematic presentation, great performance by the lead character role or whatever. It's simultaneously beautiful and brutal, just kind of brings out a lot in people and really makes you think about humans and stuff like that. And the song is also sick. So my music video of the year is Death is But a Door by Alluvial.
Oh, that video, man.
That video was really good.
When you reacted, you said it best. That's like a very Arthur Fleck-like performance.
Arthur Fleck-like performance,
So good. That was a great one, for sure.
Yeah.
It was definitely on my list as well. But if we're gonna, be on the topic of music video and the music that comes with them, let's talk about our song of the year. Now, it's always really, really hard. There's such amazing music that came out, and it's so hard to pick one, but I did figure it out. And it was difficult, but I did figure it out. Now, I think there are a lot of songs that are sick, but you gotta kind of be in the mood for them sometimes. Sometimes you put the song on and it's like, I know I love this song to death. It's a god tier song, but like, I gotta get there first.
Yeah.
When I listened to this song that I picked, when the first fill that opens this song starts, it's on. I am into it, ready to go. This is the sickest song. It brings it out of me. I don't have to get into the mood for it. It gets into the mood for me. It comes on my playlist and says, you're loving this right now.
What is it?
My song of the year is Wildfire by Periphery.
Wow.
God tier song. The music video was fun. It's just a crazy fucking song. Every single time I hear it, I love it so much.
Wow, that's an interesting pick. I like that. So my track of the year, like TV Fish, like anybody, it's hard to pick a track, like one track. So mine, there's no songs that have touched me the way this song has touched me. It's just, it's poetic, it's relatable in its lyrics, in a way that's almost therapeutic, right? For me anyway. On top of that, the vocal performance, really, really good. Has, great guitaring in it. So my pick's a bit unconventional, but I think it's absolutely worthy of my track of the year, and it is Cold Summer's Night by Shepherd's Rain.
Wow, interesting pick. Was not expecting that one.
It's a ballad for anybody that doesn't know. I'm sure it's a pretty obscure band. Not a lot of people know Shepherd's Rain. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a ballad. It's a truly beautiful song, and I hear a lot of people when they listen to music, they go, oh, it gave me goosebumps or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't really get those feelings. It's just, I've never really have. This song does that to me.
Yeah.
This song really, like, you ever know when you're listening to something and you watch a sad movie and you get, like, dust in your eye and it makes you tear up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I get dust in my eye when I'm listening to the song. Lots of dust in my eye.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a powerful song, man, and it just performs so nice.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad that album finally came out.
It's therapy. Yeah, that too.
We checked out that band in 2020 when they dropped La Manu as the video.
Yeah.
Amazing song.
Yeah.
Just this year they dropped the album that has it on it, Alamai. Really good album.
Yeah.
I wish we got the chance to review it.
Same here. It's really good, and it was actually creeping up as a contender for me this year as well. So, I guess what's next? HMs, I guess.
Yeah. Before we get to number
one,
it's worth mentioning honorable mentions. These are albums that just didn't make the cut, just underneath our top 5.
Yeah.
Barely not there. So to mention, my 3 honorable mentions are Judgment Day by Love Bites, The Fox and the Bird by OK Goodnight, and Mother by Veil of Maya.
Nice. Mine are Zvilik by Mental Cruelty,
Ooh.
A Taste for It by The Bunny the Bear, and Bats by Gamma Bomb.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah,
the last album we reviewed of the year.
It is. Super good album, super fun album, but just didn't make the cut.
So, here we are. Number 1 album of the year.
This is what it all boils down to.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. So, who's going first?
I guess I'll go first. I gotta admit, I'm surprising myself a bit with this one.
Ooh.
Okay? But I just can't deny the prowess and absolute epic nature of this album. From cover to cover, this album slays in every way, by every member, on every song. And it's just, for me, well deserving of my number 1 album of 2023.
This album that I picked as my number 1 was a journey. It was a journey for me to even get into this band, because I didn't really, when I tried to hear them at first, I wasn't really super into them. And then I tried them again, they started releasing new material, and I got into them. And I got excited. I'm like, yeah, this new album's gonna be really good. Came out, and I loved it. And I feel like this album really touched me personally. It's a masterpiece through and through. Almost every single song is special to me. I think it's incredible. Every time I hear it, it takes me back. It's just a really special album to me. Incredible work. I love it a lot. So our number 1 album of the year,
Judgment Day, Love Bites.
Take Me Back to Eden by Sleep Token. There you have it. Interesting that that Judgment Day made it. I was thinking to myself, like, is he gonna have Love Bites on there? But you know what? It's a sick album.
It's an amazing album. And like I said, I'm surprised. Like, to have a power metal album as my number 1, Doesn't feel like something I would normally do.
Just because of like the way the genre's gone.
It's just such a well-performed and well-written album. The pace, the consistency of it, it's just super, super top-notch. They really, really nailed it. They have their work cut out for them to do a better album next time. Like,
yeah, that's gonna be scary.
That's gonna
to
be
improve on
hard to
that.
do.
Like that's a sick album.
They set the bar for themselves like super high.
Like they got 2 toe tags. Like they're on our list for a good reason. That album was sick. Like it's an HM, but like HM out of so many bands.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I
at least they're on your list somewhere.
Yeah, no, I kept track of so many bands. Like I made just a giant list, and this one's still worth mentioning in the video because it's that good.
Yeah.
These are the best of the best. One quick thing I wanted to mention, I guess that we forgot for Song of the Year, that we both actually made Spotify playlists with our favorite tracks of the year. So we're gonna plug them in the description of this video. So go check out those playlists, see what we loved from the year the most. And yeah, so listen along and pick whatever out of our playlist might be your favorite of the year.
Yeah, but before we end the video, let's talk about what we're looking forward to.
Oh yeah,
in 2024, there's going to be a whole slew of new metal coming out.
Oh yeah. So what do you got?
So there's actually 2 albums I'm looking forward to, and they actually both kind of relate in a way. It's 2 Canadian bands that have both been off for a long time.
Okay.
Kitty, 3 Inches of Blood.
Ah, nice.
So
nice.
they haven't released albums. Kitty's last album I think was 2011. 3 Inches of Blood 2012. Like,
damn.
These guys have been out of action for a while, but they're both cooking. And I love both these bands, and I cannot wait to see what they bring to the table in 2024.
For me, I mean, if I were to pick 2, one of them is definitely Death and Anthology by Enterprise Earth.
Yes.
The singles have been so cool, creative,
Smashing
and interesting. I'm really curious to see how they all fit together on the album, and we've mentioned that in our reactions. We reacted to these guys a bunch this year too. Like,
yeah, and they were all bangers. Like,
yeah, they were all cool. And the other one for me is Dream Theater because they just got Mike Portnoy back, and I'm really curious to see how that's gonna go. I love Mike Mangini as well, and there was amazing albums during his era, but the Portnoy albums are like, for me, were peak Dream Theater. So to have him back in the saddle, like, really curious to see how that's gonna go.
Anyways, guys, let us know what you guys are looking forward to in 2024. Let us know what you think of our picks for our top 5 albums of the year, and let us know your top 5s as well. But that's it for this video. Have a happy new year. Subscribe if you guys are new to the channel. Check out our playlist down below. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
And we'll see you guys next year.